Let's see. Okay, I'm hoping that we are live. Let's see. Right, comments. Okay, I'm really praying that we are actually live on Facebook. I hope we are. But either way, thank you so much for attending day 1 of our 5-day series in honor and awareness of World Suicide Prevention Day, which is on Friday, the 10th of September. But of course, the month of September is Suicide Prevention Month. I am so honored and privileged that we have our first guest speaker with us. She's an amazing friend and person that I have in my life. But just to give her the accolades and introduction that she deserves, so that we can then kick off our session, is that we are joined by an amazing mother, an amazing model and mogul. She is a beauty business owner. She's also into film and media. She's a woman of faith, but she's equally my friend. And so, everyone, in honor of today's first session, which is in conjunction and support with Talk Counseling CIO, which is fondly known as Talk Support, our first guest is Miss Esther Akin George.
Yay! I'm so privileged. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Oh my gosh. What an introduction, Sam. I didn't pay her, by the way. I'm just That was amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so happy to support. I really am.
Oh, I mean, the thing is that obviously we've known each other for a very long time now. And I just feel so blessed and honored that you would agree to share with us so that we can help everyone to choose their future and that we can save lives. This is what this is all about. And so before we get into the meat and potatoes, as it were, of this session, I think it's important that, Esther, you share with everyone, as one of our wellness warriors, one of our mental health advocates, you know, in your own words, for you, why was it important for you to join today's roundtable and to be a part of our mission?
From the minute you started talking about it, I just felt it within my spirit that this was something that, I was destined to do anyway, because it just fitted in with everything else and the ethos where I come from, as in, getting it out, rather than keeping it in. And it really stemmed from my personal journey and my continued journey as well with mental health and wellness, and just understanding it, I think, for a lot of people, and knowing there's avenues and people out there to support, which is such a huge thing. And it sounded like such an amazing charity. I mean, where have they been? That's all I could think in my head, because so many people saying they didn't know where to turn, they weren't sure whether their friends would agree, and things like that. And it's so nice to have something that, from what I know of the charity and what they do, it's not funded or anything like that. So it's something that really genuinely comes from the heart, and that's where I come from with everything that I do. So it really spoke to me for sure.
Oh, thank you so much, my love. And obviously you've touched a little bit upon about your personal journey. And if you would be so kind as to share with everyone your mental health journey, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the minute I met Samira anyway, I literally just blur everything out anyway. I'm so I'm so natural. I feel so comfortable in my skin now. But it was never like that at the very beginning. I'm just thankful for my faith first and foremost, and I thank God up high, just watching over me, and just, really never letting go, because there was times where I just didn't know what to do, and if it wasn't for him. But it started back in 2010, really, the main, really coming into this area of mental health and really thinking about my health, wellness, and so forth, when I lost my parents. So my dad in that year went in the April, and it was a huge shock to the system. So I think in anyone that's been, faced with some kind of trauma, it would do something to your health. It will do something to you mentally, physically, emotionally, whichever way you want to look at it. And so I was teaching back then, and I had two young kids. And for me, it was juggling everything in my head. Where do I go? What do I do? What do I do next? And before I even had time to even focus on that aspect of it and really, deal with my feelings and what was going on, I was hit again towards the end of the year with my mum passing. So it was a lot for anybody, I think, to cope with. I just felt very dark. I didn't feel like it felt more like an out of body experience. And it's a very hard thing to really put into words and to really explain. It just felt like despair. It was just that. It was just there. It was like, what do I do? The kids needed me. I needed me. I needed God. I needed something. But it was a very difficult time to reach out. So I was so, so thankful for having amazing, amazing sisters and things in my church, and people that actually reached for me, even if I didn't want to reach for people. I didn't want to know anybody. There was a point where I just literally, it was a self-imposed exile, if you like, for like 6-month period where I wasn't talking to anybody. People were coming to my door praying for me, you know, things that you don't really know about, because people see you out there on social media and things like that, and they just think, oh, this person's their life is going good, it's going okay, but you don't really know what is going behind doors with anyone. So that kind of sat me up, and it made me think, what do I do next? But at the time it was happening, I didn't know what to do. And then I was introduced to this amazing consultant who kind of helped me to break things down, try to understand where I was going. And there was a lot of testing and things going on, because I didn't know about bipolar. I didn't know about what it was. I always thought I was a little bit crazy, because I said God loves me that way, and I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of person, but I didn't factor in the downside of things. I really didn't. The lows where you just felt like helpless, just total despair and helplessness. And the highs made me dizzy to the point where it was more like, you would think I was taking something. Anyone that didn't know me would think that I was on something, because I was just so busy. Everything was busy, very busy, like at a heightened state. And so when I eventually got diagnosed, I think it took nearly a whole year to get diagnosed. Meanwhile, thankful for my children's father looking after my kids. And I had to let go of certain things that I didn't want to let go to be able to heal.
Yeah.
And so that was the start of my journey. And then I met amazing people who ended up being part of my family. And they introduced me to what I do now, which is as a business, but they introduced me to a supplement, which alongside the balanced medication that I'd been introduced to, really brought me to a place that I never thought I would ever get to at that point. It was crazy. For a good 2 years, it took a lot of settling and getting things right and talking. This is why talking is so important. It was about talking. Initially I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to know people. I love people so much. Anyone that knows me, I'm so tired. I'm such a hugger that all this pandemic thing is totally, it quenched my vibe for a little bit, but I got back up because I knew I had strategies. I had things in place. I knew what to do when certain things happened. But it was so good to actually have people that were for you.
Yeah.
That truly understood, that were trained, that knew what they were doing. And that alongside learning to sleep. I mean, people think about sleep and, oh yeah, I got 2, 3 hours and that was so great. No, it wasn't, because your body will tell you about it later. Learning about eating, I still have a sweet tooth, but it's about eating balanced and sleeping balanced and, living life balanced so that I could move to the next steps. And the next few years kind of went through, and here I am. From 2016 onwards, I was really getting a grip on my life again. And that was through a lot of things, a lot of people like yourself as well, because trust me, I will tell the whole world about it. I don't care. But you're a sister for life, and you're my family. So it's like there's people that actually open their hearts to you as well, which is so essential to anyone experiencing or going through any mental health, you know, that being in that despair state is not a place I would wish for anybody. Anybody. It can feel so helpless
Yeah.
until you give yourself that time to think. I think that is essential, that talking time, because that gives you time to think while somebody is speaking with you, so you can process what is going on, why certain things happen, and how you deal with certain things and how it was going on. And my kids, I can't speak enough about my children, how amazing, amazing. My eldest actually became my carer. And I found that so strange. I found that the strangest thing. But then she became my best friend. And so it was like, oh my God, sometimes I forget she is my child. Yeah, okay, I go put the mother hat on. But, it was down to them, and just remembering that life was to live and
Yeah.
not to, put yourself in that position unnecessarily. So every day you're doing a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. I'm not saying I'm happy go lucky every single day, but I am so blessed to have every single day, and so that's the most important thing, being able to just move forward. I'm very excited. I don't even know why. I just get excited because I don't know what's coming. And that's the beauty of it. I just get
That is.
excited about what's ahead, you know. I moan enough times to friends, I talk. That's the thing, it's so important. I know I'm kind of making light of it now, but I know the journey it was tough. I
Yeah.
had to take everything physically, mentally, spiritually, and just really trust in the journey, and knew that God had me all the way. That was the thing that kept me going the most of anything else.
But you touched on so many important points, my love, that I'm going to take you a little bit back, if I may. And that's just for everyone here to really understand in terms of the mental health challenge that my dear friend and sister Esther is referring to, is bipolar disorder. And so bipolar disorder, it causes extremes in terms of mood. And there are some highs and there are some lows. And so just for everyone to understand where Esther is coming from, that is the health challenge that she continues to overcome. And that is why she is on here as one of our mental health victors. There's power, amen. There's power in the tongue. And we never want to disempower anyone. We always want to be about empowerment. But something else that you said, Esther, which was 2016 was a turning point for you in your journey. But if I can take you only for a short moment before, so pre 2016, if you can, and I know that we don't necessarily like to look back at the very, very, very dark moments in life, but was there any point during either one of the high highs or the lowest of lows that you ever had suicidal thoughts, or know of other people that have bipolar disorder that you've spoken with who have shared about having suicidal thoughts at all?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I never actually went into any groups because I found working with a CBT therapist a lot more for me
Mm-hmm.
personally. The groups were always offered, but there was a point even before, because like I said, the actual diagnosis is very difficult to actually pinpoint because they have to do various tests and so forth. So in that time, I found it really, really hard being on my own. So it wasn't so much having suicidal thoughts, but it was more about being scared of what would happen if I was on my own. And initially, I couldn't even be in my own home. I think I stayed with some sisters from church, a couple of other friends, very close people to me who knew me. I even went to stay with my cousin for a while. And it was a very difficult time to keep me by myself. So it was frightening. It really was scary. Like I keep saying, it felt like an out of body experience because when I think of that person and I think of me now, I don't, it's like I can't correlate that. Was I really that person, who was so scared of everything and just couldn't cope, not even the basics of getting dressed, having a wash, just down to the minimal things and feeling so much despair, but not to the point where I didn't want to live because my children kept me strong and my faith kept me in that place, but to the point where I didn't know what would happen if I was on my own. And that is just as, scary and
Yeah.
difficult a place to be in, and when I, started, because it took me another couple of years to actually get it in my head, because initially I didn't want to accept, I didn't want to know. I said, that isn't me, this isn't, you're labeling me, you're putting something on me, and that scared me even more, and I didn't want to know anything. But it wasn't until I was able to be reassured and put with the right kind of people and shown that this happens to others, and learn a bit more about how bipolar actually was and the spectrum of it, that really made me think, what, as scary as it was, I thank God that I didn't actually get to that point where I didn't want to live anymore, because it was the scariest. I think, I know I've been through a lot of things in life, I've had accidents, all kinds of things, but that was the lowest and the scariest that I think I have ever been in my whole entire life. And I just thank God for the fact that I wasn't at that point, because of the people that were able to just, be there, and the avenues that was open to me at that
Yeah.
time. I can appreciate people prior to the 2000s and things where it wasn't so much known as to how to support and do certain things, and maybe they didn't have as much, support and help. But I know that through the pandemic also, we went through another wave of something else, which, which was, it was scary, because now you're on your own again, where you didn't want to be back, because you've been through that, you've overcome that, you've come to this next thing, and you're on another journey. And
Yeah.
again, you're seeing yourself on your own, imposed this time, not by you, but by, what was going on around you. So, but thankfully this time it was a lot easier to manage, but it still had its scary moments, because I don't know any longer want to be on my own. I want to be around people. So it's a very challenging, it was very challenging at that time. Definitely. I think it was really difficult.
I mean, the great thing about what you shared is the importance of the support that you had access to, primarily the girls. So Esther's children, I'm referring to. And how have you been able to now balance the relationship between mother, daughter, and carer? Because it's interesting, obviously, with my own personal situation in terms of my dad not being very well, and us as a family coming together to be his carer. It's an interesting dynamic as a daughter to care for dad or mom. So how has the relationship changed, and what would you say has been the beauty, as it were, of having your daughter's support in that way?
Um, it initially there was a lot of guilt because of the fact that my eldest daughter had to look after me, and she actually saw me through the experience, my very first episode. And this is a child that's under 10 that's watching her mother go through something that she has no idea about and had to be hospitalized, you know. And so it was very challenging initially for me to go from that to acceptance. And again, thankfully, it was my daughter, you know, that she never pulled away. She
Yeah.
never ever, no matter what, I don't even know. I just thank God because she just pulled closer. And somehow, you know, we came through it together.
Mhm.
More like, you know, I didn't have the energy or the strength to even have a hat. So I don't know. I was just me, you know, I was just a person that needed help. And this little girl was, you know, she was looking after me, and she had to grow up really fast, you know. And I had another little one as well, which was literally just tiny. So it was a lot to be dealing with my mental state, my children, and feeling that thing about looking after them rather than being the other way around, you know. And it's very difficult until someone becomes a parent to really understand that concept. And it took me a few years to actually say, you know what, there's nothing to forgive. God already knows, he sees, and this is the helper that he has brought you because he knows that's the best helper for you at that time. And
Yeah.
it took her a long time for her to take that hat off as well. And even when she moved away from me, she's still on the phone. We're still FaceTiming every day, more or less, when she has time. She's such a busy bee now. But she still feels that kind of responsibility. But then as I became stronger in myself and started taking ownership again and started taking my life back, she started to see the difference and the role reversal and how that was beginning to happen. And
Yeah.
that made her happier because then she sees her mom doing this. Because, oh, you're always out here. Where you been? Da, 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 da. That still happens. But it's like, oh, yeah, she knows that I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
in a place where things are so much more managed. You know, the consultations still happen. You know, nothing has just gone or
Mhm.
disappeared. The CBT therapy only just, you know, finished recently, but I do have checkups with my beautiful friend. Well, she's my friend now. She's not just a therapist to me, you know. So I've picked up so much friendships and, you know, people that have been genuinely, you know, it's not just about a job for them. It's something that you just feel within you that that's what they want to do. And that's why this charity actually so speaks to me, because you can have a job, but you can have a vocation. You know, it's like you do something because of the love of it and what it does and the impact it has on others. You know, that's what it's about. And, you know, we need more people and more organizations and people doing that for people, for them to not feel so much despair like I did once upon a time, or feel to get to that point, you know, that suicidal point. It's just, it, I can't fathom it now, but
Mhm.
I can relate to it, you know,
Yeah.
with the steps leading up, because it was not, you know, the same person sitting here today that was, you know, like all those years ago, because it has been a journey and it still is, because you still have to just live your life, but you have to be mindful of so many different aspects to it. Even if, you know, you don't get anywhere, just make sure you're getting it the next day, or you're, you know, you're definitely recouping yourself, you're exercising, you're getting fresh air, and
Yeah.
just, you know, and living in a more positive place. And the girls did that. They just helped me get on that train back to life, just living,
living.
just taking every day and just really appreciating, really genuinely appreciating every single day. So for me is about the little things, and the little things starts from having somewhere to go, somewhere to be able to connect with, or speak to. And that was my first port of call to really helping me, on my way, because the girls were amazing. And Chanel actually looked up a lot of different avenues of how to get help and things like that, which I just wasn't in a frame of mind to be able to do any of that. So it was really good to have her there. I do miss talking to her about it sometimes, but it's like we talk about positive things now, which is good. And I just lost my earring.
But you still look fab.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, the thing is that you touched upon like getting fresh air, which takes us on to what are your daily and or weekly habits to ensure that you are keeping it positive, that you are doing your best and playing your part, to ensure that you're looking at optimum wellness from, mental health as well as emotional well-being.
I definitely do not surround myself first and foremost with negative people. Even if my daughter starts, my younger one's obviously home now, she's finished uni and everything, but even if they start to speak negatively, I just try and change the conversation around. So one thing I know, I don't surround myself with negative people or negative thoughts or negative anything. It just does not occur. Because when that happens, that's when you start, having self-doubt and things like that. My day always starts with quiet reflection, prayer, just spending time and just being thankful, you know, every single day, no matter how busy the schedule on that day is going to be, even if it's a shorter time, but just starting that day. And then, adding either a walk or exercise and things like that. Nutrition, I am learning about daily, and it's so amazing to be able to have that at my fingertips, to be able to use the best of the best in line with the medication and everything that I take, to the point that the nutrition is actually more than the medication that I take now, which means the reduction that has happened in helping me to lead that healthier lifestyle has become more natural, and making sure I'm getting that 7 to 8 hours sleep at night, on most days, because I'm more gallivanting everywhere every day anyways, but, just making sure that that sleep is there, the rest is there. I'm getting that, whether I like it or not, I am taking that sleep, because I have noticed the difference when I don't. When I don't, it just takes me another couple of days to recharge myself and reboot and start again. And that is essential for anyone and their mental health, to be fair, because I think we all need that break as well, taking a break from things. I know I'm constantly, even you there, Esther, we all really have to remind ourselves about taking that break. It's actually statistically written that we need a break. And this is probably why a lot of people right now go stir crazy, because they've not been able to go away. But that's another story. but yeah, it's about taking that time. To be honest, even the last couple of months, because I've been so busy, I've not done as much exercise as I want to. And so I'm saying to myself, okay, what do I need to reboot? Going back and looking at the areas I'm not doing too much in, and then going back and saying, okay, we need to start doing X, Y, and Z. It's a continual thing daily, until it then becomes part of you, so that when you don't do one bit, it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I forgot to do X, Y, and Z today. So it's like just constantly, so that it becomes natural rather than a chore. Because then you think, oh yeah, I've got to do that. Then it becomes an irritant, and then you don't want to do it, and forgetting how useful and healthy it is for your body, mind, and spirit to be able to do these things. So for me, that is a daily thing, continue. But everything always starts from there. You need to just start with a positive way in your day, however you choose to do that. And then add in the things like the, you know, nutrition, eating healthier, you know, add greens. I'm not really a green person, but I liquidize the stuff, add some fruit, and it makes a good smoothie, you know. So I'm doing any which way, as long as it's going in, you know, that's the most important thing. And it's healthy. So the
Yeah.
kale, I'm actually beginning to like kale. Kale chips
Yeah.
are really nice to do them in the oven. They're really nice. You know, but just doing things. I still love, you know, sweet stuff and things like that, but not making one part the most dominant to the other, and just making sure that you're being more balanced with yourself. And just being honest. If you say, okay, I had too much of this today, okay, let's cut that down and let's do this. You know, those are things that I've had to be constantly dealing with. And then one thing that Perpetua always taught me is that putting things into their little compartments so they don't become one big thing, and then you
Mhm.
feel like you can't manage, because
Yeah.
that's where a lot of things starts from. Whatever a situation, you know, something might come up to that person that they feel like is the be all and end all, and oh my god, and that thing escalates and then it becomes 10 times. So having a routine, I think, is really essential. Really, really.
And in the beginning, did you write everything down so that you'd
Oh
know
God,
I
yes.
wake up at this time, I eat at this time, I exercise at this time, I go to bed at this time? Was it that regimented in the
It
beginning?
was regimented for me because I wasn't used to it. It
Mhm.
was some days I would forget this or forget that or whatever. A lot of the time, I'd put something on my phone, or I'd put a reminder, or I'd actually record myself doing a certain an action or something, because I couldn't get myself back onto an even kill without some kind of prompt. And through our therapy and all the things that I was having in between, which really taught me, you know, about calmness and getting into a place where I could think.
Yeah.
Because one thing with bipolar, if you get yourself into a state where there's this happening consistently, you can't function and you can't think about what you need to do. And though you make a little thing that should be little, that big, that it just escalates, and you can't even think where to start from. So I had to really just make sure, okay, I'm getting up at so and so time, checking how many hours sleep I've had. Even
Mhm.
till now, I still do that. You know, if it means I'm having a late night, I'll say, okay, this amount of hours will give me 7 hours at least. That's my minimum. And then I set my alarm for that time and say, so that I don't get up and I just sleep, so that I have a regulated sleep to start the day. So yeah, I did do a lot of that. Not so much now because I'm into a routine. I
Yeah.
kind of get myself up at a certain time. So even like today, without the alarm going off, I was up because my body is now in a place where I say, okay, we need to get up. We've got this and this and this to do in our day, or we need to start our day. So, you know, it it's working well, because I still have an alarm as a backup just in case. But
I think everyone needs an alarm.
yeah. I do like to get up naturally, but I don't want it to get to the point that I'll sleep till noon or sleep till, because that's half my day gone, and then I get irritated because I know I've got X, Y, and Z to do in my day, and I'm not giving myself enough time, and that's where panic sets in and things like that. I'm trying to think what that is. Oh my goodness.
This is live,
I'm doing a
people.
live. This is live,
This is
everyone. I have
live. Don't
no
worry about
idea.
it. It's all
Go
good.
away. I have no
It's all
idea.
good. Don't worry, my house phone will go off soon.
My
Don't worry.
children know that I'm doing this today, so nobody should be calling me. Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
fine. It's
So
fine. I
yeah.
mean, I want to pick up on something that you said, my love, which was in addition to really and truly looking at the importance of sleep and looking at what you're eating, is that you said also supplementation and just looking at your overall diet was something that was key. Of course, exercise, but something that was also key was what you're putting into your body. So,
Yes.
what would you say has really and truly worked for you personally when it comes to food and supplementation?
When it comes to food and things like that, it's been just doing less of the sweet elements, but making my own things from scratch. That's why I said, I've kind of slid a bit back, get a bit lazy through pandemic and all that, but I'm getting myself back onto making homemade things like soups and things like that, because I find that as much as I do like fruit and vegetables, I don't eat as much greens as I should.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take them in supplement form instead and add things like that. One supplementation, as we own a health, wellness, and beauty business. But thankfully, working with such amazing, specialists and nutritionists and so forth who helped me to get a regimen together as well with what I should be taking for my condition and how much of it I should be using as well. That has really helped support the journey along the way. And like I mentioned earlier on, the actual medication that I take is what you get at a minimal level just to keep you away from going either way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just keeping you on an even keel. And that took a good 2-3 years to get that balance. And so now it's just a matter of, oh, it's there because they don't want to take that away, because they want you to just stay balanced, but they see what the nutrition and the importance of the nutrition that you're taking that's actually helping you lead a healthier lifestyle. In that, obviously, I have regular tests and blood checkup, workups and things like that, and you see the improvements in your vitamin D's and all the different elements of yourself, and what a difference it is making internally. And that's one thing I'm learning is not, so many people are you meet telling, oh yes, I'm healthy, I do this and this and this. But if we break everything down to what we genuinely do and
Yeah.
how we look after ourselves, we can't be saying that, because boy, when I start learning about certain things, how food actually gets to my table, I'm thinking, oh, what's the point? I might as well just not eat, because it's like they're telling me, oh, this is out, this is out, this is out, this is out. So what is in? And it just blows my mind, really, to be honest. So I try and make sure that I take as much of the supplements, especially OPC3, because that one supplement is what started me on this journey and really made me sit up and think what nutrition does within your system. Because for me, that was the true turning point with regards to getting me back on a healthier point, because I got to the point where I had no choice. Doing something I loved, which was teaching for like 11 years, I had to give that up full time because my health had got to such a place. And so I knew that I didn't want to be going backwards. I wanted to going forwards positively. So I really had to look into the supplementation and knowing, about it. Because it's one thing to have a health business, but to actually understand why it's going into your system and really know, what reasons that thing is doing, it's a game changer for anybody. And it also was important for my mental, my brain, the function to be able to move and do and actually make decisions. What an importance it was. It was like mind blowing, really. It still is, because every day something new, and you're learning
Yeah.
every day about how to look after you positively. So I think it's a really important step also in anything. Yeah.
What I would like to do is to, outside of this, is to get a list of the nutritional supplementation that you personally are taking, and that's really and truly helped you to reduce the amount of pharmaceuticals that you're taking, so that you can actually be on a more natural path.
Mm.
And, that can definitely help either someone that's watching live now. And we've had some amazing comments from people. So thank you ever so much, ladies. Can see
Oh,
that we've got
brilliant.
Mama Carmen McDonald, we've got the beautiful
Yay! I miss
Pearl,
you.
we've got my sister Cam, we've got the beautiful Roz, who
Oh,
have been
amazing.
commenting. So
Hi,
thank you so much,
guys.
ladies. But definitely, we want to make sure that whoever watches the replay, thank you so much. We will make sure that you get access to the information in terms of the regime, the nutritional regime that Esther is using. And by all means, if you want to get access to more information about those products, you can actually get them through Talk Support or Talk Counseling CIO, which is the registered charity that is really leading the way and doing what it takes to be there for the community on the ground with ensuring that mental well-being and emotional well-being for all is accessible and taken care of. So I'll also put that link. So by all means, if you want to get access to those products, you'll be able to do so. And you can do so through Talk Support as well. But before we go, my lovely, so tell me, I've got here to choose your future.
I love it. I absolutely love that t-shirt. I want mine. It better be FedEx to me tomorrow, girl.
So for anyone who wants to choose your future t-shirt, let me know. Put it in the comments and we'll work it out. But it's wonderful. We've got a lot of ladies in the house. Thank you, Rosemary, for joining us. She's our next door neighbor.
Oh, amazing.
Thank
Hi,
you so much
Rosemary.
for joining us, Rosemary. You know, what I want to know from you, my love, is when it comes to you saying you said at the beginning that you're just so excited and you don't even know why, but if you could think of like one thing that you're looking forward to between now and the end of the year, what would you say? Or it could be a series of things. What are you excited for, and as to why you're grateful to still be here on this planet, on this realm, especially in these times? What is it that
Oh
you're
my
looking forward
goodness.
to?
You've just touched on it, Sam. Exactly, especially in these times, because as much as, everything else is going around, it's been challenging also just to keep yourself on that positive keel, looking forward to things. So anyone that knows me knows I love birthdays.
Yes.
Okay, so it's my very big birthday coming up next year. So this is going to be the end of my 40s this year. So I'm looking forward to celebrating. Hopefully both my kids, I don't even know. I'm looking forward to whatever the future holds for them, because anything that I do, or anyone that I help, or anyone that comes into my sphere, as it were, moving forward, I pray that I am a positive impact on them, because that's what brings me joy. That's my happy place. If I'm helping, or I'm supporting, or I'm doing something that is going to genuinely change things for you and what's in your life, that is a positive for me. But anybody that knows, I love birthdays. I love celebrating people. I love just giving thanks. And you know what? We've been through a very tough 2 years globally. I mean, this isn't just happening to us in the UK. This is happening everywhere. So I think every day is a blessing, like we said earlier, but just thinking positive about everything, just even when you don't understand. I don't fully always understand until something comes to fruition, but I know that moving positive no matter what, I just keep going. And people say, how come you keep going? I said, I'm on batteries. And so what kind of batteries? I go, their nutrition, and I can laugh and joke about it now. I genuinely am on batteries, but positive, good batteries that is really helping me to progress day in, day out. I don't kid about this, because if I miss it one day, I know that I am like, hold on, there's something wrong here. And I say, oh, I haven't taken X, Y, and Z. So it's like putting myself on that positive step with everything, remembering to take, your nutrition, your food, to eat even, I'm not a huge, people look at you and they go, oh, yeah. But I don't eat huge. I don't eat much. But I know that food still has to go in, and you have to put the right kind of food in. And, you know, just staying in a positive frame of mind. It seems so easy to say, and it isn't. It's just thinking, thoughts, just basic things, just thoughts, being in positive circles, and just keeping yourself positive and knowing that there's somebody to talk to. That's the most important thing. Because I think if we didn't have talking channels, I don't know where I would be today, to be honest. I really don't. Because having people to talk, being open and not feeling stigma or feeling whatever you feel should be what you should be doing because that's what's out there. You know, if you just being yourself and, you know, just thinking in your sphere, who's your biggest competition? Yourself. So my biggest competition to myself is keeping myself as healthy as possible, because I want to see my kids, and I want to see the future that I'm building for them come to fruition in my lifetime. So that is the biggest thing that keeps me going.
Oh, well, I pray that you actually are able to realize everything that your heart desires in this lifetime, my darling. If there's anyone that I know who deserves it, it is definitely you. I'm not going to cry.
Don't me off, because I have been trying so hard. So just keep smiling, because I said unless I'm going to blubber out, and I don't want to do that on live television or whatever this is. It's live, so I gotta keep it, you know, I gotta keep it in. But Sam knows my journey and my story, and I have told you everything as much as it is. But anyone that knows me as well, I want to empower people to know that, you know, there's nothing you can't do. It doesn't stem from where you came from, or what happens in your family, or it's something that runs in my family or something. Don't speak. It's what you speak to yourself as well that's really important. If anyone's heard of that book, What to Say When You Speak to Yourself, go and read it again, and you really understand, you know. That was another one of the things which I didn't mention earlier, that, you know, just reading, putting positive things into you as well, you know, on a knowledge level, that would really help you to just keep pressing forward. And I love empowering people to be their best selves. You know, nobody is your competition but you. You just be your best self and look at yourself. If you need help, reach out, because people are there. And it's so wonderful to see a charity doing such amazing work. And I look forward to, you know, seeing their journey and what they've got, you know, ahead of them as well, which is so exciting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, thank you, my love. Well, by the way, I'll put in the notes about the book that Esther is referring to, but it's What You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helstetter.
Helstetter. I can never say this surname. Yeah.
Name. But we'll look it up and we'll put that in the notes as well, because these resources are so key. And by the way, there's a lot of resources that you can get access to for free.
For free. There you go. That's one of our best words as well.
Yeah, never let money stop you from going after what you deserve. And everybody deserves the very best that life has to offer. And even if we are in a place of despair, just know that your future is big and bright. Choose it.
Yes.
So before we go, Esther, what would you say to everyone? Because Esther, by the way, can we put some love in the comments, please, for Esther sharing her heart, giving us some tools that are tried and tested and proven, because they are working for her, but she shared her heart with us. So please, can we just drop some love in the comments for Esther, and also on the replay? #replay, drop some love for my girl Esther.
And just some love for my girl Samira. You're doing amazing. Honestly, I don't know if I can be any more proud of you than I am, but I so am. And what people don't appreciate is the time that goes into a lot of things. And she's an extremely busy bee, you know, and she takes her time to do such amazing work. And I think that needs to be said for sure. And she's doing this all week and taking that time to do what, you know, what we know is best, not what, you know, we think we should be doing, but what we know is the right thing to be doing. So that's why it's so important to really align yourself in the right company with the right people, and knowing exactly, you know, that no matter what happens, you've got people that are there supporting, guiding, and really, you know, there for you and really wanting you to do positive things. They probably even want it for you more than you want for yourself, trust me. So that's really essential. I think talk and talk some more. Anyone that knows me, I can talk for Britain, but that was not always the case. It wasn't always the case. So it's so important. Once I accepted who I was, loved myself for who I am, because he loves me so much, that I decided, you know what, the kids are going to be my drive. They're going to be how I move forward every single day. And then I picked up so many helpers along the way that I was just so thankful to have so many amazing people that were there to just listen and just, you know, support in whatever way they could, not judgmental, you know, just making you feel very comfortable and at ease. And I think that is such an amazing thing for your mental health. And learning more about how nutritionally, not tablets and things, nutritionally, you can support your body and making your body healthier nutritionally as well. That's really, really essential key. Keeping yourself happy, healthy, you know, just positive. I think positive is the biggest word, and it's the hardest one sometimes when you are in a place that you feel that you can't get out of. But if that positivity continues and weighs above what everything else, you'll get there, and trust in yourself. You've got this. I say that all the time. It is my catchphrase. Hashtag you've got this, but you really do have this. Because all the time when people say, talk about overcoming, I don't hear it from sisters in my church, but I hear it from everyone. So you're such an overcomer, you're a this and that. And I never understood what that meant until once you overcome the boundaries that you feel you tie yourself around, you will genuinely see what an amazing, amazing person you are. You know, so thank you, Sam. You're amazing. And I pray that you continue to do great works globally. Trust me, you'll be sitting on stage soon. You won't be able to get in. I've got a VIP ticket, so it's all right. So I was so happy to be here. I do get nervous all the time about talking about myself because it's really opening yourself up. But I learned that if you don't do that, you keep it in and it festers, and that makes me unwell. So that's why it has to come out rather than stay in. So for me, when I put it in that way, that's what always makes it a lot easier for me to speak about myself as well. So I do get nervous because I'm thinking, oh my God, who's watching?
You know who's watching? Just friends and family. We're all a part of the human race. And the more that we open up and respect that every single person is valuable, every single person brings what is needed to the table. We've all got different skills and we're all going through different challenges. But that's why together we can achieve some great things, right? Together, everyone can achieve more. We're a team.
Definitely, yes.
We're
And
a
we
team.
definitely believe in that, by the way.
Yeah. But before you go, I want your opinion, my love, as to why.
When she says I have to think
I
about
know.
it.
It's like, where's she going with this? As to why everyone, if they haven't already donated to the raffle, why everybody should do what they can to purchase, even if it's one ticket. You know, it takes just every single brick is important to building a bridge.
Definitely.
So if it's one ticket, why should someone donate to talk support and the cause that we have?
I mean, I literally didn't know about talk support until Samira's mentioned talk support to me. And when I learned about what they do and how it's not fund, you know, it's not like they have funding or anything like that, and how it genuinely provides such an amazing service for people in need right now in our communities, I think every one of us can at least get one ticket to support the charity, because what they're going to be doing is putting 100% of whatever you are donating towards helping somebody else. That £5 will help maybe 2 phone calls and 2 people that genuinely need help to speak to a trained specialist at that time and so forth. So it is so, so essential. And, just being there to support. Everyone knows me. I love doing raffles and things like that. But mine is just done to give, to bring joy to someone. This one is bringing joy to thousands and, millions of people that I'm thinking global now. Everything starts from a small mustard seed.
Yes, it does.
So we start from little and we grow. So I think if you all help dig deep and just really try and support the charity, you've got all week to do this. I think you're doing this on Friday, right, Sam? You're going to do it on the actual day.
We're going to do the prize draw on Sunday, but you have until Friday. You have until Friday to donate.
There you go. So you have a whole 5 days. That's a whole how many hours? There's actually 24 hours in a day. Multiply. Okay, let's not go in there. But literally, you have a lot of time. You have time. So no excuses, guys. We can all do it. It's not about there's what's that saying? It's not about equal giving, is about equal heart. We all have the heart to be able to help and support something that is a good cause, something that is there for humanity. And that's what we're about. That's what we should all be about. So yeah, definitely £5 a ticket. And I know she has amazing stuff. I know I'm going to win, but okay, you can still support the charity because your money is going to the charity. I'm getting the gift. So it's real good.
It's willing it on that she's
going so it's coming to me. It's coming to me. I have claimed it. Okay.
Which, for those of you who don't know, your £5 donation for every raffle ticket is actually 100%, as Esther shared, going to Talk Support. There is a wonderful gift of a pamper day for 2, as well as a self-love, self-care hamper as well. So it's all to play for. But, for anyone who requires the services that Talk Support offer, take a note of this number, 0203 66 77 888. That is the number. We're going to pop it in the link there for everyone in the chat. Also, you can visit their website, talksupport.uk. Also, at talksupportuk is their Instagram handle. So please make sure, as Esther has encouraged you to do, we all have to be coachable. Follow what Esther was sharing.
Even me.
So dig deep, guys, and please do what you can. We've already received donations from Australia and America.
Amazing.
So come on, guys. This is amazing. You guys are doing amazing things. So please continue to spread the word. Thank you, Mummy Carmen, for putting the name of the book and the author.
Awesome.
Chad Helmstetter. Forgive my pronunciation if I butchered his name.
Helmstetter, that's it. I don't know why I always forget it. The book, I actually lent my copy to a friend, because I said, just go and read this. No more.
I recommend the book as well.
I literally had to put the book in front of her. I said, okay.
I do recommend the book. So make sure that you please share this content, share this video with as many people as you can, because we are all about empowering and equipping individuals, ourselves and others, so that we can be at optimal well-being, emotional health, so that we can save lives. Esther, thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so pleased to have been here. Love you.
Love you. And I can't wait to hug you.
Yeah, can I? Oh my gosh, it's since forever.
I know. It's been definitely over a year. I cannot thank you enough for sharing your heart with us. And for those of you that have been able to join us live, thank you so much. We salute you. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who watch on the replay, thank you so much. We salute you as well. Please make sure that you share this, because sharing is caring, and we want everyone to choose their future.
Definitely.
The present is a gift, and so we want to live for the now, and we also want to live beyond that as well. Have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone, and join us again tomorrow, same place, same time, which is 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. UK time, which is 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, the other time zones, I don't know. When we'll be having more guests to join us so that we can do what it takes to empower and equip everyone with optimum well-being, great emotional well-being and health so we can save lives. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Mwah.